This episode of Gators Breakdown is brought to you by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. Go to HelloFresh.com/Gators50. Use code Gators50 for 50% off plus free shipping.
Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast is ready to go. I am your host, David Waters. You can find me on Twitter at GatorDave_SEC. I still got to get used to it. Are we calling it Twitter? Are we calling it X? It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, follow me there at GatorDave_SEC. Threads is at GatorDave_SEC as well. You've probably seen Gators Breakdown on Instagram lately as well, too. So, hey, look, out there on social media to get all this Gators Breakdown content to you. But this episode here, plenty to get into with the grill in the Ville this weekend and recruits, mainly commits for the 24 class, all coming into Gainesville for the big event this weekend. And, hey, we got some visits during the week to get into right here on this episode of Gators Breakdown. And also a preview of what Florida Victorious is doing. You get to know these freshmen a bit. And I've teased it a little bit. You're not going to get to hear from these freshmen during the season, but through Florida Victorious you can. And you get to know Treyaun Webb, Eugene Wilson, Roderick Kearney. And I'll give you a preview of those so you guys know if you're not signed up there at Florida Victorious, Florida's leader in NIL, you get a preview of those get to know interviews of these freshmen. They're going to be doing all the freshmen here, but those are the three that I'll preview here today, and get to know get to know those guys a bit better. So we'll see if we get to hear from them through Florida Victorious or some other NIL avenue this season. But through official media and stuff, you won't be hearing from freshmen. Kind of a Billy Napier rule there. So hey, some really good stuff. You can tell that these guys have got it going on the right way. So lots to get into right here on this episode of Gators Breakdown. And before we do, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet on your favorite podcast platform right here on YouTube. But smash that like button. It really goes a long way right here on YouTube. Leave a comment if you want. Hey, the 24 class had a great summer. Kind of putting a bow on it with this grill in the Ville right here. You guys remember all the great content we brought you this summer. So hit that like button. And hey, also Gators Breakdown Plus, if you haven't done so yet, you can join, keep the conversation going on with the Discord there, of course. And hey, you guys remember the chat episode that I put up earlier this week? That's how you can take part in those chat episodes. I host them right there on Discord. You can become a Gators Breakdown Plus member to hop in those chats, have text conversations right there on the Discord. Always really lively conversations going on there with the Discord. With the season coming up, even more custom episodes, early access episodes, all that good stuff right there. Gators Breakdown Plus, link is in the description to join that. Excuse me, my allergies got the best of me today, so you might hear a few sniffles or whatever. I know it's kind of aggravating when you hear that listening or watching right here, but it is just what it is. A lot better than it used to be. I think if you guys have been long-time Gators Breakdown listeners, you know how much I've struggled with that. A lot better, but still, every now and then, they'll get the best of me. So excuse me for the sniffles this episode, but all right, hey, let's get to it right here with the grill in the Ville. And kind of putting a bow. It's a big cookout right here in Gainesville. Kind of putting a bow on this. The dead period's over. So now recruits, commits, all that good stuff can go on visits again. And Florida's going to host a ton of them. And we'll get into here right here. Mostly commits for Florida. A couple uncommitted prospects for the 24 class and 25 and 26 kids as well. But hey, look, I'm eager to see what turns out. Could there be some surprise visitors, and maybe even bad for Florida too? Maybe guys not showing up. That hey, this list is probably pretty fluid. I waited a little while to post this episode because I wanted to get all the info for you before the event this weekend, so nothing was kind of dated, and a lot of things change. It probably will even change from this recording, but trying to at least bring it as up to date as we can. So let's start with the 24 class. and who's going to be on campus this weekend. And as you see, if you're watching the YouTube version, there's a list for you. All the names in bold are the commits there for the Gators. So only 2 non-committed 24 targets have announced that they'll be on campus. We'll see what that means. I think there could be some surprises. We'll see if that comes out or not, of when they may visit and who it may be, and if it happens. But there you go. You see it. I'll list it all for you for the podcast version. But quarterback DJ Lagway headlining. You saw the tweet this week on social media. We kind of knew he was going to be in town anyway, but they made it official, saying they're going to be in Gainesville this weekend. You want your big-time quarterback at this event. And, I mean, another trip to Gainesville from Texas, so making it happen, getting around these commits, solidifying commits even more, and hopefully can go a long way, and some targets coming on campus as well. DJ Lagway, Kanan Daniels, Jeray Hawkins, Isaiah Williams. There's your offensive skill players coming to the grill in the Ville. Offensive lineman Fletcher Westfall, Mike Williams, Marcus Mascal, Noel Port-Yagan, all the way from Germany for a few-day visit. A few-day visit all the way from Germany coming to the grill in the Ville. So good for him to be around his future teammates, his fellow commits. Mackay Burrow. Let's go to the defensive line, of course. Mackay Burrow, Nasir Johnson, Amaris Williams will be on campus as well. A couple of those guys coming from the state of Georgia, so not too far. Miles Graham and Darius Hayes, Aaron Childs, your linebacker core will all be together for the grill in the Ville this weekend. Jamonte Waller, Kendall Jackson also. Kendall Jackson, he just got that 5-minute drive. He's right here on campus. Safeties, Xavier Filson and Josiah Davis will also be on campus, and cornerback Teddy Foster. That rounds out your committed prospects that will be on the campus this weekend for the grill in the Ville. And then you see the 2 names here. Jamari Howard and Wardell Mack. As of now, that are the only 2 uncommitted prospects that are scheduled to be in Gainesville this weekend. Now, part of that, Florida's got a large class, 21 commits, ranked number 3 in 24/7 and on 3, the recruiting services. Class was 21 commits already. So there's not a lot of room for uncommitted prospects in the first place. Howard, Mack, the only 2 announced right now. So that means there's a lot to get into. But before we get into, the theme of this episode is also going to be, hey, this is the big kind of culmination of this hot summer for the Gators. But also, what could that mean for the rest of the class? How could Florida finish this class? I'm going to give you some updates and maybe the ideal finish for Florida. But before we get there, of course, there's some 25 commits as well. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. It's kind of way far ahead. I don't look that far ahead mostly. And this 24 class has been keeping us busy all summer anyway. But safety DJ Pickett, top 10 prospect from Tampa. He'll be in Gainesville for the 3rd time this summer. The top safety in the country. As I mentioned, a top 10 prospect. He'll be there. Cornerback Chris McCorkle from Sarasota. He's teammates with Gators commit Teddy Foster. Thought to have a high upside. So we'll see maybe a teammate pool there in 2 straight classes. Running back Walter Clark, running back staff is a running back. The staff's really high on him from Tampa as well. Gators in good shape for a wide receiver, Javon Boggs from Cocoa. He was in town for Friday Night Lights as well. So there's a few 25 names that kind of turn some heads. Florida may be trending early on in good shape for there. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. This is Friday Night Lights was a good part of that. This right here is laying the groundwork, the foundation for some of those relationships right here. But a few other 25 guys on campus, 26 kids as well. But all right, let's go ideal finish. Florida sitting at 21 commits, of course. Top 3 in both recruiting services. A hot summer. But there's a few targets I think we are all looking at and how Florida, maybe an ideal finish, a finish that keeps Florida definitely in the top 5 of recruiting rankings, maybe even top 3. I don't see Florida getting a top spot here unless maybe you go out there and win 8, 9, 10 games, and but I don't see a passing of Georgia. I just don't. And that's no slam on this class for what Florida's putting together. Just seeing how things will play out. It may play out. But hey, let's start with that Daytona duo. Daytona Mainland, LJ McCray, Zay Mincy. But let's start with McCray because what a storyline this week. Still hearing both Florida, Georgia, probably the leaders right now in this commitment or in this recruitment. 2 main competitors, and we're seeing it play out this week. And it's interesting to see how all this played out. I mean, we've been wanting to know his plans for this week, and we've been hearing about it for a couple of weeks now. And there were thoughts and reports that it may just be a Georgia visit this weekend. Then maybe a visit to Florida on Sunday, coming back from Athens. Well, another reason I kind of waited late, and maybe some of these storylines kind of play out a bit, well, it played out. McCray, boom, surprise visit to Gainesville on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, he's in Gainesville. We saw earlier this week, the interaction between him and Gators' great linebacker Brandon Spikes on social media. Spikes basically telling him, hey, come join Florida. Come join this recruiting class. So LJ McCray, he's visited over the summer for his official visit in June and a 7-on-7 event. Visited many times overall. Of course, that short trip from Daytona to Gainesville. I mean, 6 foot, 6.5, 260-pound defensive lineman. He's 128th overall, 19th ranked defensive lineman on 24/7 Sports. He's the number 46 overall prospect and number 9 defensive lineman in the 2024 cycle and on 3. He's the number 7 player in Florida in both those rankings, or in the on 3 rankings. Number 7 player in Florida, top 10, top 50 overall. But he has said he's not in a big hurry. So can Florida speed this up? They're trying to, put it in there and make that decision sooner. It is what Georgia's doing and who they're bringing in. If you're waiting to see who they bring in and maybe compare both situations, we'll see. Top 5 currently, Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Miami. Taking official visits to 4 of those. Still waiting on the FSU official visit in the fall. And, Florida did a lot of their official visits in the summer. Florida State's plan was to do more in the fall. So if recruits are really interested in Florida State, a lot of those are going to be taking their official visits in the fall. And that's supposed to be an October visit. So he's not looking to make a decision until all those trips have concluded. So, all right, we'll go. Let's go his teammate from Daytona, Zay Mincy. Now, the big storyline there is a visit to Miami this weekend instead of Florida. And he's one of, if not the top name for Corey Raymond in the defensive backfield. Visited Florida more than any other program, so maybe that plays into it. He can get the campus pretty easy. Already visited Florida a lot. And I still think Florida's in great shape despite taking the visit to Coral Gables instead of Gainesville this weekend. Was in town twice in the month of June, once for an official visit, again for 7-on-7. Florida, Florida State, Miami all got official visits in June. Alabama got an unofficial. And, no straight timeline from here either. Said it before, he's not in any hurry. He's 122nd overall, 10th ranked safety. But it's looking to play for, cornerback for the Gators at the next level probably. 122 overall, 10th ranked safety on 24/7 Sports. 131st overall, 9th ranked safety on 3. 6'2", 175 pounds. Of course, that is that ideal Corey Raymond build for a cornerback. So now let's go to one of the targets that are going to be on campus this weekend for the Grill in the Ville. And we hope it happens because it's been scheduled twice since the springtime. A decommit from Michigan State in the timeline as well for Jamari Howard. Been trying to get him on campus, and it just hasn't worked out. Well, scheduled to happen this weekend. Full court press on Jamari Howard this weekend, the Miami Central product. Top tier target for Corey Raymond, of course, this cycle. His recruitment, a lot of action, as I mentioned. A Michigan State, a commitment, then decommitment. Took official visits in June to Rutgers and Michigan State. From Miami, he's committed to Michigan State, visiting Rutgers as well. I mean, he's visiting up north. So, supposed to be visiting this weekend. Had two separate plans, but those fell through. Maybe an official visit back to Florida in the fall. Florida State, Miami in the mix, maybe. I think this is a Florida State battle. I think it's the way it's been trending for a little bit. 109th overall, 12th ranked cornerback on 24/7. 122nd overall, 15th ranked cornerback on 3. 6'2", 175 pounds. So another with that tall size, lanky size that Corey Raymond loves to go with. Jamari Howard, great reaction time as well. Great reaction time to go along with that 6'2", 175 build. So one more name, and it's just starting to come up. Maybe how Florida can finish it. There's some options here for Florida. It's just not Mincy, just not Howard, because Jameer Grimsley from Tampa, an Alabama commit, is another name. I think we're starting to hear a bit more. We're starting to hear some rumblings that Florida's still hard after him, despite that commitment to Alabama. 207 overall on 24/7 Sports, the 19th ranked cornerback. On 3 has him as the 176th overall and 20th ranked cornerback. So very similar for both rankings there. And why Florida still going after him? Of course, from Tampa. So you hope you can kind of make some inroads with a local commit. And then 6'3", 185 pounds. That's why. I mean, 6'3", 185. The Corey Raymond's got to be salivating. Got to be salivating at that one. Two-way player, and on defense, he uses that to find the ball. I mean, it's been a name that's kind of kept steadily creeping up on Florida's board. He got evaluated in the spring. Corey Raymond. Okay, there we go. I want that guy. Took 5 official visits in June. Stopped by Florida for an unofficial visit. Then he picked Alabama after all of that, but some word, still some interest in Florida. Corey Raymond going to keep after him. Keep after him. Hopefully you get him on campus sometime soon and maybe make that flip happen. That'd be a big time flip. A guy who committed to Alabama, got ingrained in that Alabama commit status. And if you can go and flip him, that would be that'd be one. That'd be one you go back for and say, okay, there you go. Jameer Grimsley from Tampa. So the other uncommitted prospect that's going to be on campus for Grill in the Ville, Wardell Mack. He's also visiting LSU this weekend, as well as the Grill in the Ville. So still some question on how much of a priority he is, how high up on the board he is for Florida and Corey Raymond. Some on the staff do like him more, but Raymond seems to be holding off for now. I just went over some higher targets that are on the board. Mack may have his own timeline, but not so sure how hard LSU's pushing, how hard Florida's pushing at the moment. So does he kind of pivot, extend his timeline a little bit? I would assume Florida, LSU are his top 2. Not sure either school feel the same way right now. I would say Grimsley, Howard, Mincy, that's where Florida's looking to probably finish this defensive back class, this cornerback class. So maybe some time and Mac may end up heading elsewhere. But there you go. Update on the Daytona duo and maybe how Florida finishes on the back end as well. All right, let's keep it going on how Florida could possibly finish this class and some more targets. Let's go offensive line. Jordan Seaton, not saying no decision soon, but some feel Florida's in a good spot for the IMG product. Offensive lineman, originally from Washington, D.C. Great communication with head coach Billy Napier. He had an official with Bama this summer, looking to take more visits in the fall, with hopefully Florida getting one. But 39th player overall on the 24/7 Sports composite. He is the top-ranked interior offensive lineman on 24/7 Sports. On 3 has him as the 38th overall, but third-ranked offensive tackle. So he has frame to play both. Plays left tackle in high school. Been playing left tackle in that spring game from IMG back in the spring. High-level athleticism, got a mean streak, 6'2", 285. He's lost some weight. We'll probably be making that decision in the fall, maybe all the way to early signing day. So that's the top, I guess, wish list offensive lineman right now for the Florida Gators. In that one, Alabama, maybe Ohio State, maybe schools to watch out for there. All right, let's keep it on offense. Let's go wide receiver. We have to. Florida's going to stay in constant contact. We don't have to spend too much time because I've kind of updated these two guys throughout the whole recruiting process the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. But we go to wide receiver, top wide receiver in the country, Jeremiah Smith. Guys, I'll stand by it. I don't see the flip from Ohio State happening, but that doesn't mean Florida's going to stop communicating. You never know what can happen in college football. We know that by now. Brian Hartline could leave. Ryan Day could leave. I ain't saying that's going to happen, but if it does, you want to be in position to rebound. So I think if everything kind of stays the same, he probably stays with Ohio State. That would be my pick. Now, Florida goes out there and shows some surprising explosion on offense with Graham Mertz at quarterback and these young receivers, and to go along with Ricky Pearsall and Artis Boardingham at tight end. This offense is a little more explosive in the passing game than we kind of expect it to be. Then maybe that changes his mind as well. But I don't think we see that likely to happen. You know, it's just not Billy Napier's MO either for calling plays like that. So they don't expect some high explosion offense and Jeremiah Smith to go, oh, there we go. But, you know, a relationship with DJ Lagway, that's just kind of been there. So stay in constant communication, see what happens down the road. Then also Chance Robinson, another commit, this one to Miami. We'll see if, there's rumors of a possible flip there, but nothing coming. You know, that was a hot button topic in June. That may happen after an official visit to Gainesville, but he's also went back, visited Miami. Maybe Miami held that flip off if it was going to happen. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe he's waiting to see both offenses this fall before he ultimately makes his decision. You know, if one was to happen, as far as a flip goes between Smith and Robinson, I'd lean Robinson. But, of course, kind of that's your ideal wish list finish at wide receiver. At least one of those guys. All right, let's move it to the defensive side of the ball. And one prospect, kind of wish list, ideal. That'd be David Stone. Still seems, and I've brought him up before, especially back in the springtime, but I mean, nice visit to Gainesville, but still seems to be Oklahoma, an Oklahoma lean, but he doesn't let much get out as far as his recruitment goes. Florida's still in heavy pursuit. And of course they are. One of the best prospects in the country, right down the road in IMG. 6th ranked overall on 24/7 Sports. 2nd ranked defensive lineman. On 3 has him as the 7th overall player. So he's the top 10 overall player, both services. They have him as the 2nd ranked defensive lineman. 6'4", 270 pound, disruptive force in the middle. Wins, an explosive get off, heavy hands, wins with speed and power. Great pursuit. Visited Florida on June 2nd. So Florida put themselves in a good spot if it's not Oklahoma. He's originally from the Midwest. Will he return back there? That seems to be the thought, but he, like I said, doesn't let much get out. Doesn't get, tongue-tied. He does not let much get out as far as where he's leaning and where his commitment kind of trends. But Oklahoma seemed to be the early leader, probably still lean that way, but that's just even with the warning of, hey, look, there's not a lot out there on this one. But if I'm looking at how Florida can add to the 21 commits, 25, 26 class total, hopefully, then you can add some names like this. These are the targets I'm looking at. There will be more that pop up as the season goes on. Florida may face their own decommits. There may be some decommits at other schools that have interest in Florida. There may be some guys who pop up, have some great senior seasons, who may become targets. So we'll see how it all plays out. There's still so much time till December, early signing day, official visits in the fall, visits for games, all that kind of stuff. But right now, as we sit here late July, these names that I just brought up would be the ideal finish. And look, well, what Florida just did these past couple of months, you cannot scratch them off. Cannot scratch Florida off the list now. You gotta think Florida is a big, big time threat for these targets. And look, Florida can be a little more selective to finish this class with 21 commits already. 4 or 5 spots left. Any of these guys will be a great addition, of course. Would not expect to get all these guys. But the Gators are in the mix. Keep tabs. Stay in communication. Of course, in that list, feel better about some more than others. That Daytona duo, right now, I'd still pick Florida. Georgia and LJ McCray of certainly a serious threat there. But Jamari Howard, hard to get a read on. Zay Mincy, I feel pretty good about Florida there. But that visit to Miami, hey, could things change? So we'll see. That's how I feel going into this last weekend in July. And look, I'd certainly, with this big weekend coming up, I'd certainly like more of these guys to visit this weekend. Being that so many are in Florida, and as of now, LJ McCray did make his visit this week now. So that's very, very good news. And these guys can get to Gainesville. It's an easier trip. But I don't take too much from it as far as hurting Florida. I could be wrong, and some of these guys go on these other visits and commit this weekend. I don't see it, but okay, it could happen. And I feel better if they were on campus this weekend. Absolutely. After what we saw Florida do in June and July. Yeah, I feel a lot better if they were on campus, and maybe Florida can put the final step on a commitment. But I feel better, but I don't feel bad that they're not on campus. I'd be foolish to believe that this means Florida's out of the race after what we just saw. I don't think they have some huge ground to make up either in a lot of these guys. Firmly in it. Now, one thing I did want to go into. Now, thankfully, a lot of these guys that are on campus this weekend for the Grill in the Ville are committed. And I think that makes it easier if you don't have the season on the field that you expect. Now, Florida could go on to have a pretty bad season, and I think that will affect most of the uncommitted prospects, the targets that you have out there. I think it was important to get to that 20-ish number going into the season, as it's a lot easier to hang on to the guys once they're committed. Now, Florida Gators has a bad season. I'd expect some decommitments, but I do not expect some mass exodus out of this class. I just don't see it, even with don't get me wrong. If you go out and win 3-4 games, and okay, all bets are off. But nobody sees that happening. I don't think. But I think it was important to get as many as you could, get that good feeling. But it's not like Billy Napier's going out there and selling, hey, we're going to go win 10 games this fall. And that's why these guys committed. They know there's playing time available at Florida. They know Billy Napier's building a culture that can go out there and turn this thing around. They want to be a part of a build. Billy Napier's selling that vision right here in his third class. He's not going out there and saying, hey, come join this team that's already been put together. we're going to go win 10 games this fall, and guys are excited about that and commit. No, they know where Florida is at right now. They know this season's probably, they hear what we hear with SEC media days and predictions and on social media and all that stuff. They know Florida's not supposed to be some great team this year, and they committed to Florida anyway. Now, maybe things are different once they see it in person, but it's not like Billy Napier's going out there and selling a double-digit win season to go out there and get these guys. They know this is a build. They see a vision where they're going to be part of that build and probably part of the build pretty early on. So, no, I don't get this big worry of a mass exodus with a bad season. I just don't, because that's not the vision Billy Napier's selling. But I do think with uncommitted guys, it may have more of an effect. So you may not see this big, gigantic finish if a bad season happens. And that's where, these targets I just talked about, okay, maybe it affects them a little bit. But as far as the committed guys and having 21 of those guys already, I don't think it's going to hurt Florida all that much. But hopefully it doesn't even happen. Hopefully we're not even talking about a bad season, the possibility of decommits happening. Hopefully Florida goes out there, wins enough games, go out there and put a great finish to this 24 class. So there we go. Grilling the Ville this weekend. A look at maybe how this class can finish with an ideal target list right there for you. Hopefully that happens right there. All right. Before we get to Florida victorious and getting to know these freshmen, Gators Breakdown's proud to partner with America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh. I can't wait to receive my HelloFresh boxes. And guys, I work a full-time job, got Gators Breakdown going on. I need all the time I can get. And I am pretty busy. I know you guys out there are as well. And HelloFresh wants you to have it all. Free time, easy, and fresh, tasty food. That's why they take care of the meal planning process and deliver the ingredients. So everything you need to whip up a delicious meal arrives right at your door. When you need dinner fast, don't call for delivery. Think HelloFresh. Their fast and fresh recipes are ready in just 15 minutes or less. Plus, it's 25% cheaper than takeout. Just because it's fast does not mean it's not healthy. Meals feature quality proteins, fresh produce, and plans for many lifestyles. So it's no wonder why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. And guys, you've heard it. I got so much feedback after I announced this partnership. Hey, man, I've been waiting to try HelloFresh. Well, you can now. You can now. HelloFresh.com/Gators50 is how you do it. Use code Gators50 for 50% off plus free shipping. One more time. You don't have to wait any longer. One of the best deals out there for HelloFresh. HelloFresh.com/Gators50. Use promo code Gators50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Get your time back. Eat healthy with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. All right, so without further ado, one more time, of course, shout out to Florida Victorious. You can join, get 20% off your first month with promo code BD or Gators BD. One more time, that is 20% off your first month at Florida Victorious. Promo code Gators BD. Your donations go a long way in securing NIL for Florida, making it attractive out there for keeping these current athletes, recruits out there, and these players making the most of their NIL. And making the most of it, we get to hear from these true freshmen. A few of these true freshmen, I'm going to give a nice preview of right here that you can find on your member dashboard there at Florida Victorious. And you're going to listen to these and come with the takeaway that, hey, these guys are doing some great things. Florida Victorious is doing some great things. And we can go a long way in supporting that. And that's why I wanted to get this kind of message out there for these freshmen so you can hear from them as well, but just the good things that are happening in the NIL space of Florida. And that's all through Florida Victorious. You can join with the link in the description. But a lot of good stuff going on there. So big thanks to Bob Redmond for interviewing these freshmen. The questions come from him. You'll hear my voice interact. So there were some questions asked, but these lived on YouTube. And it was just a graphic slate. So you'll hear my voice interact there a bit, kind of leading the topics. But it was Bob Redmond who put these together there for Florida Victorious. A big thanks to him for putting it out there, and big thanks to Florida Victorious for putting it out there. And I'll give you guys a preview of it, starting with running back Treyaun Webb.
Hey, Florida Victorious, Treyaun Webb from Jacksonville, Florida. I play running back. I just want to give a shout out to all y'all helping support football team. And just give us all my 20 ski bags. It's pretty good.
What is something the common fan doesn't know about you?
I'm very smart. Like I've been told, Coach Luke tells me I'm too smart for my own good. I'm very smart. I'm a people person. I can interact with anybody. I can talk to anybody, really anybody. I can go on the road and make friends. Love reading. I love R&B's. Love high school musical, stuff like that. I'm not their average to walk with.
What do you read?
Percy Jackson series. I was big on that. Anything like mystery wise, Cam Jensen, Hardy Boys, anything like mysteries, growing your brain and solving cases, really.
Where do you get that from? Is it parents or what?
My mom said she used to read a lot. I probably say I feel like growing up, I was always like reading. I don't know, like I just used to always like to read. I don't know. I used to picture myself in the books. It's like kind of explore my imagination, and it also got me smarter too.
What's the biggest thing you've learned off the football field since you've been in Gainesville?
How to be a pro every day. Putting the right things in your body, taking care of your body, not rehabbing but prehabbing. Making sure that you're doing the necessary work so that you don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really being a pro, being on time, being early, not on time, being early. Coach Luke emphasizes that a lot. You know, if you 10 minutes early on time, so we make sure we get there on time and just taking care of my body and do everything the right way. Be overall good person.
Can you share a humbling moment since you've been here?
I've had played. I was really trying to think. Probably during the first day of practice. Realizing that like workouts are tough. Everybody fast, everybody will hit you. Nothing we ever do is really like have speed. Like everything's full speed. So really conditioning my body that, you know, I'm the big boy at least. Like I can't be going slow anymore. I ain't the best player on the field no more. So it's going fast all the time.
Favorite Florida Victorious community service experience that you've had?
Actually, quite a story. Me and a group of guys were out, I think it was Idlewild Elementary, right there for that. There were a field day, played with all the kids in their field day, did games with them, basketball, football today. The fifth grade class came out, me and Cam Jackson. You know, who was dancing, you know, the girl wanted to tell us a dance battle. And it was okay, we should be there. It didn't go so well. And did backflips, splits, everything. I said, nah, they got it. So yeah, we got absolutely defeated in the dance. Like it wasn't even close. Yeah, they did it to.
What's going on, everybody? It's Eugene Wilson III. I go by Trey. I'm from Tampa, Florida. Went to high school there. I'm originally from New England, Rhode Island. And just want to say thank you for all your support. And, being able to help out my teammates and this program means a lot.
What is something most fans don't know about you?
I mean, it's not really too much to me that, people wouldn't, really know about already.
I didn't know you were from Rhode Island. I should have been.
No, because I came my 8th grade, better competition and exposure. That's a good one to talk about. Yeah, so I'm from Coventry, Rhode Island, probably like the smallest town around, or that's where my mom's side of the family are. That's where they stay at, and I've just been there. And I just wanted better competition, a little bit more exposure to the game and all that. So I moved down to Tampa with my dad in my second semester of my 8th grade, and I've been in Florida ever since.
What's the biggest thing you've learned in the short time you've been on campus?
I'd say integrity. Mm-hmm. I'd say that because first off, I didn't even know what the word was. I didn't know what it meant. Now I know, everything too, and I go by it now. Whatever I say, whatever I like tell myself the night before, I make sure like I stand on it. And it's just like a lot of like seeing everybody go through the process, knowing that I'm with them guys, it's just kind of like some really got to stand by your word. You can't just talk, and you gotta walk the talk.
Any humbling experience since you've arrived at Florida?
Humbling, I'd say really just even just being in that locker room, knowing that all these guys have been here longer than I have, to me, like, I feel like even just knowing that I have to like kind of catch up with a few guys, there's humbling myself, like, I keep myself real humble, I'd say, only because I feel like I'm never satisfied with where I'm at. I always feel like there's a lot more I can go up to.
What's been your favorite community service function through Florida Victorious?
I had one so far. I had Treyaun Webb. That's because I used to go to the Y a few times back with my my little friends and all that back when I was a little kid. But going there, like kind of seeing like Lisa, she had told me like I'm gonna walk in the gym and there's gonna be kids like they're excited to see you, like, and they're gonna be like jumping up on you and stuff. I think she just talking because they're gonna be excited to see us and all. But go in there like 2 seconds, like the kid really jumped up on me, like it just hanging off my shoulder. And, like right there, just kind of clicked. Like it's like I'm supposed to be here to have fun, not just like put in hours. Like so. Like, I made sure the kids had a good time. It was cool, like, really seeing, like, somewhere I used to be, like, seeing all, that the kids, they're going to grow up and, like, there's talking memories and that, we can be a part of those memories.
Does it change your perspective on, is it like a ruling perspective change?
Oh, yeah, for sure, because
all of a sudden, oh my gosh, these kids are looking up to me.
Yeah, like, I don't find myself around a lot of kids, to be honest. I'd say I'm one of the younger kids in my family. I have a few little cousins and all, but I don't really be around them too much. But like a whole group of kids, like being able to, talk to them, like teach them right from wrong and stuff, like it's a good feeling, and I'll be helping them out.
Hey, how's it going, Florida Victorious? My name is Roderick Kearney, and I am very excited to be partnering with you guys. I want to say thank you for all your efforts in giving back to our Florida Victorious and athletes. I just want to take a huge shout out to you guys as well, and thank you.
What's the first moment you knew you were a Gator?
Okay, so the moment when I knew I was going to become a Gator was, I going through my recruiting process. I was highly recruited, but a lot of schools didn't have what the Gators had. The culture we have in the work ethic and, from the whole nine, from everything to the people, not just the athletic, but the people, it really means a lot to me. So, they kind of, won my heart over with that. That really means a lot. When you come into a program that is not only caring about your athletics, but also making it really important about your future outside of football and playing sports.
What is something important that you brought from home?
From home, something I brought from home, I would say
Something important.
I feel like my devotionals, all my devotionals, I brought those from home. I read them every day, stay up on them. They really mean a lot to me. Stay close and maybe with them.
What is something most fans don't know about you?
I feel like a lot of fans don't know just, amount of giving back that I do to the community, outside of the things that's, required of us to do. I love giving back. I love being around, children, to give back to them, the knowledge that I learned, to pass it on to future generations, and that will benefit everyone. Yeah.
So along those lines, you've done several things probably with Florida Victorious.
Yes.
Right? So do you have a favorite?
I would say my favorite thing that I've done to give back to the community through Florida Victorious, I would say, reading to the kids, We did, I forgot what elementary school it was, but we read to some children along those lines, and it was great. Seeing those kids light up, seeing their expressions and just happiness through them.
Any humbling experience since you've arrived at Florida?
I say humbling on every day is humbling. It's a lot of obstacles that you go through throughout, the daily life of being a college football player. Not only a college football player, you're still an athlete at the University of Florida. So, I feel like every day for me is humbling. I go through obstacles every day, which I have to conquer. School, having to conquer every day, football and OTAs and just meetings, all of it's humbling. You got to go every time. You got to go just conquer back to back to back, just conquer everything that you have to complete. So those are very humbling times for me.
What was something unexpected after you signed?
Honestly, nothing changed for me. Within the recruiting of Florida and our staff and from everything is when I was getting recruited by the staff and everybody, they showed a lot of love towards, a lot of love to my family. They made a very personal relationship with me, my parents as well. But none of that has changed. Everything has stayed the same within the way they treat me to the way they approach me when they see me. Only thing that changed was the workload, and it's gonna be like that once you enter college, especially playing SEC football for the University of Florida. So that's the only thing that really changed.
Is this something you could pass on to like recruits? Like, what they tell you is what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like you want to come to Florida, you want to be great, you want to come here and work. Everything is just gonna fall in line if you do everything you need to do. Other than that, everything is on a personal relationship with our staff, and not even just the staff. It's the nutrition staff, the janitors all the way up to the head coach Napier. Everything always gonna be great. You just gotta work.
What do you envision for the Florida program?
My vision of this program is we're building something special. With everything that's going on in the staff, the new staff coming in, and with the players we have and our coaches, taking it step by step. Even as Trish was saying that everything is going only up from here. I feel like we all tune in together, we all work as one, and we just gonna continue to just go up from here.
What do you want to accomplish in year one?
Personally, year one, I just want to become a better person, a better player. I just want to also make my mark. Put my foot down, show them who Roderick Kearney really is. Just to show the fans, show them what I have in store for the University of Florida at football.
Talk about the offensive line and the coaches.
Our unit is great. We got some dogs. We got a lot of players that want to be great. We got a lot of players that are very coachable, and we got two great online coaches. We have multiple strength coaches that's with our O-line coaches, and they all just play a big part into our development. Coach Stapleton, Coach Sell, Coach Caleb, Coach Blackshear, all them guys, they all play a big role in our development. And I feel like with them being, really great offensive line coaches and just great people in general, that just really plays a big part into our play style. We 5+1. We gonna just grind and just work and just become better so we can model those people on the other side of the ball.
Is there a fellow freshman that has surprised you so far?
I would say Najee Harris, my fellow O-lineman, my fellow teammate. I felt like he came in and just showed them, he was ranked as a 3-star coming out of high school. And, being low in rankings, it really puts a big target on you. Like, they really don't think him as good as days, as the media portrayed me to be. But he came in and showed them. It didn't really surprise me because I already knew he was a great player, and rankings don't mean anything. But I look up to him. He great. We the same age, but I'm not that type of person to not like give props where it's due. I feel like he came in, he put his foot down, and he is just now building up to be a great player.
If you had to describe his play, how would you describe it? The way he shows up and does whatever he does.
Technique is really his technique. He's a technician. He knows the game of football, and I feel like he can learn. He learns really fast, so that's what really helped him in his development.
All right, if you want more of that freshman series, get to know these guys. Florida Victorious. One more time, link is in the description. You get 20% off your first month. Promo code GatorsBD. 20% off your first month using promo code GatorsBD. And you can tell, these guys have got it going on. Their head is on straight. They're ready to get on the field. We'll probably see a good bit of those three guys right on the offensive side of the ball. Treyaun Webb, can he garner some carries there? A little further down the depth chart with the experience Florida has at the position, but maybe can find himself there getting some carries. And Roderick Kearney, of course, we saw him in the spring game and making that transition to playing center right here from nearby Orange Park for me. Eager to see his career, and great words from him for Najee Harris too, who we're probably going to see more of. Maybe we'll hear more from him. And the way you can do that, join Florida Victorious, and you get to know about Najee Harris a little bit more, hopefully as well coming up. But I like what Roderick Kearney and his approach to life and the game of football as well. But Eugene Wilson too, kind of the realization of hey, this is high school football, and kind of nice little background on him coming from up north down to Gainesville right here, and probably one of the players we're the most eager to see this fall wasn't on campus in the spring. Like Kearney, like Webb, they got to go through spring practice. Wilson came on just a couple of months ago for summer to take part. So as the Gators hit fall camp next week, there you go. Eugene Wilson, that'd be his first taste of college football. So eager to see what he can do and how Florida can get the ball in his hands as a true freshman. So that'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown. I am your host, David Waters. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever it is right now, at GatorDave_SEC. Guys and girls out there, thank you for joining me on this episode of Gators Breakdown.